Welcome back to Hopline. I turned on the red light, which means it's finally Medusa Pro time. After desperate days of waiting, I finally got some wind and a chance to test the all-new Medusa Pro 769. Unfortunately, there was not enough wind to test the 669, but that's coming soon. So to give myself the best possible comparison, I actually stick to the setup I ride the most, which is a slingshot Phantasm setup. I rode an 80 centimeter carbon mast, a 701 fuselage. Usually I ride a PTM 930 or 825 front wing and a PS 340 stabilizer, but I just swapped the 930 towards the Medusa Pro and I moved the mast slightly forward half a centimeter to compensate for the slightly smaller size. Right from the start, the Medusa Pro was easy to pump, easy to get up on, and it was just fast and gliding. I think the thing I liked the most was how well balanced it is and how it keeps the front foot pressure on any speed level. So some front wings develop more pressure on the front foot the faster you go, but the Medusa Pro is really well balanced. Going from slow to really fast, it feels almost the same. It's really fast, that's probably the key factor, but at the same time it's really agile, it likes to carve, it likes to jump, and it felt so familiar. Coming from the PTM series and slingshot, it's slightly faster, I'd say. It turns like the 825 and it's an absolute beauty. Unfortunately, by default, I deleted most of the footage from my session, but there's a few little snippets I still have. For really trying to get to know the Medusa Pro in my first sessions, I did different test scenarios. I tried to start in low wind, I tried to start it in gusts. I did some breaching, hard breaching, just minor tips, just getting out of the water and see how it behaves. I did some crashes, I actually crashed a few times from breaching. I had a lot of footage, but like I said, I deleted most of them. Here's some. You can see it's sucking air and I can recover, but once the stabilizer is sucking air, I just crash. I attached the GoPro to the tip of my wing, which I hate because then the wing is really unbalanced, but in return I got some really nice footage of me carving some waves, doing some tight turns, which I deleted as well. But trust me, it turns really nice. I had a lot of fun going from jibe to jibe to jibe to jibe, which was so easy. And even in the turns, it generates speed, but still the front foot pressure stays the same. So even being so small, it still generates a lot of lift. It's really forgiving and really fast. And if you remember my unboxing, I said tiny a million times, and Sabfoil told me it rides bigger than it is. Frank from Famous Frank told me it rides a lot bigger than it is, and you know what? It does. Let's compare it to the PTM 930 from Slingshot, and I'd say they're really close in lift. So getting on foil and taking off was not a problem at all. It felt so familiar right from the start. It was like on track, really fast, with a lot of control, but at the same time it was just turning so nice and doing exactly what you're doing. So I think the Medusa Pro wants to be pushed towards speed and towards the limits in turns and jumps, and that's what I bought it for. I wanted something a little bit more progressive, something that would open new possibilities to my style of riding and giving me control and fun and just pushing the borders a little bit more. And that's exactly what the Medusa Pro does. In terms of size, they're tiny. Like the 669 really looks like a stabilizer and I can't wait to ride it, but I already know it's gonna be so nice, and I think I don't need much wind. Like I could have at the end of the session I had 14 knots, and I think that would have been more than enough to test the 669, but unfortunately the wind was dropping out. So don't be shy to go for the smaller sizes because it's so much bigger. In water it looks like a stabilizer, but it feels like a big wing. It takes off like a high aspect wing, it rides like a mid aspect wing, but with a lot more speed. So that's something I really like. I like the G series from Slingshot to be really carvy and playful, and the PTM series to be fast and just pushing the limits towards the sky. but the Medusa Pro, I think similar to the Fanatic Glide series, is combining both in one wing. So should you get it? If you're into going fast, jumping, turns, tight turns, just everything, pushing the borders a little bit more in any direction, the Medusa Pro is really nice addition to any quiver. So if you're thinking about buying a Medusa Pro, don't be shy to step down in size. I think we're all used to having numbers like square centimeters to give us a rough idea of how the foil works, but this foil is smaller with less square centimeter and it just writes bigger. Everyone told me, I wouldn't believe it, I tried it, now I believe it and I love it. So let me know what you think about the Medusa Pro in the comments. Are you going to buy it or not? What size are you going for? And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me and I will try to get back to you. There's more coming up, a review of the 669 and more footage from me riding the Medusa Pro. See you next time, goodbye.